everybody, we are here and back for the end of Seer's Isle. So, here we go. Chapter 7, The Summit. After a good 2 hours of walking, at last we come into the ledge. During the ascent, the cold has been biting ever deeper into my skin. I feel almost human now. Freya is a few steps in front of me. I'm filled with an oppressive sense of déjà vu, like a weight on my chest. Further on, the flame tree has never been so near. Noticing that, I've stopped. Freya turns. Are you alright, Rowan? I must not falter now. I try to smile. Yes, sorry, I just need to catch my breath. I take a deep breath. Let's go. Freya throws an unfathomable glance towards the summit and sets off again at a brisk pace. I follow behind her at a jog. We reach the calm ledge which stands at the foot of the flame tree. The internal layer of snow which strews the ground of the summit stops at the stone circle, giving way to a welcoming carpet of grass. When we cross the threshold of the enclosure, the biting mountain air changes to soft warmth of the summer's eve. I shiver. Above us, the branches of the tree block out the sky as if we had entered a carmine bower. The ripples of magic currents which seem to come from the trees make the air shimmer into a metallic sheen. From the other side of the calm ledge, a group of seers watch us approach, motionless in the silent space between the two worlds. The ornate wooden masks once again hide their expressions and their intent. Freya seems struck to the soul by the beauty and strangeness of the world. One of the seers approaches the trunk of the flame tree and plunges his hand into a chest-high knot in the trunk and pulls out a strange fruit. The other seers make a semicircle around him. He lifts the fruit of the flame tree towards the sky and then places it in a small silver dish. One of the seers comes over to us. I stay rooted to the spot. I don't know what to do. The seer ignores me, taking Freya by the hand and leads her to the tree. They make a circle around her and then they give her the dish. Freya accepts it. She seems as if in a trance, lost in exaltation, as if the outside world no longer existed for her. As if I no longer existed. Panic grips me. I call to Freya, but it's as if she doesn't even hear me. She finally turns to me and she smiles. Then she puts the fruit into her mouth. A white radiance seems to exude from her. The seers remove their masks and conceal them in the folds of their robes, unveiling faces that are delicate and childlike. I realize that they are just as unreadable ever with their faces uncovered. Freya's mask falls too, and for an instant she shows her true face. The face of Freya who should have been if she had been forced to take her sister's place. If her fate hadn't slipped between her fingers, a grain of sand carried away on the stream of destiny. As she is about to bite into the fruit, she stops as if seized by doubt. She gives me a questioning look and turns her attention to the tree. A familiar figure appears, skirting around the tree to come between it and us. She still wears her blue dress, but her long red hair is loose, giving her a wild appearance. As if she were the only one of the magic of the tree, she and clad in the same vermilion shroud. Yennefer? Rowan, I beg you, turn back. You're not supposed to be here. And I know what you are about to do. How could you know when I don't know myself? The seers have shown me in the meanders of fate. I turn to the seers, hoping they confirm that they say something, but they remain inscrutable. What do you expect from me? I was brought here by force so that you could judge my actions. And you condemn me to an eternity of wandering the void between the worlds. Don't you think that I've suffered enough? Jennifer regards me sadly. Rowan, Rowan. The Seers really don't care that your actions brought about the death of a man's son. The thread of your fates were woven so. Jennifer approaches me, gliding on the glass of the comlinch on the tips of her bare feet, steered with an almost feline grace. But Freya blocks her path. Jennifer, don't you believe that Rowan has been punished enough for her crimes? She adds in a powerful, commanding voice. Let her leave the island. There's a moment of indecision where the Seers replace their mask and drift away from Freya. I know what's going to happen. It has already happened. The Seers make a circle at the perimeter of the comlinch and strike the ground with their sticks. Their voices rise in crystalline murmurs, accented by regular beats of their sticks, which resound in the earth. I feel a ball of dull pain spread out in my belly. Despite myself, I cry, and pain escapes me. Freya turns to me. Jennifer, what's happening? Freya's dazed, incredulous. Don't try to interrupt a ritual, Freya. There's nothing you can do for her. I'm sorry. But, no. The agony in my stomach is almost unbearable. Freya drops the fruit to the ground and frees her hands on her lance and stands alert. Without taking her eyes from Freya, Jennifer pulls out a long dagger secreted in the folds of her dress. Freya changes her grip on her lance and prepares to hurl it at one of the Seers. This is unjust. I can't let you do it. Jennifer uses the fact that she's been lowered her guard to slip behind her. With one arm, she blocks Freya's lance. With the other, she plants her dagger in her stomach. Aww. Freya falls to her knees. Why? You had passed the trial. Why do you persist in ruining everything for that girl that you hardly know? Freya raises her eyes to Jennifer and smiles. The Seer took my sister from me, and they took my traveling companions. I couldn't do anything. This time I can do something. I summon up all the strength that I have left and crawl towards the tree. The Seers can slow me down, but they can't stop me. I know what I have to do. I cannot let Freya sacrifice herself this way. Jennifer notices and takes a step toward me, preparing to block my path. Freya, in a final leap, clings to her and brings her tumbling to the floor of the comlinch. 2 more steps and I'm at the flame tree. I plunge my hand into a knot in the trunk. Can't talk. Behind the bark is a sickening, vicious warmth, as if the shape of the tree hides some animal life at its core. I rip out the beating heart of the tree. I cannot afford to delay. Freya and Jennifer struggle on the ground a few steps away. Despite her wound, Freya seems to have the upper hand on her attacker. She throws me a resolute glance, which gives me the strength to continue. The strength to start again, once more. The chant of the Seers rises into the air, resounds in the earth, and the elements seem to respond to their call. Whoa. I bite down into the ebony heart. I'm blinded by a flash of light. The glacial mountain air. The scarlet leaves fall into a gilded rain around us. I feel my antlers growing back in my skull. Then the void. I am flung into the dawn of time. I know what awaits me. The unbearable lingering in the solitude of the island, when man has not yet even walked on 2 feet. The time of the builders. The magical cataclysm that wiped them off the island. The standing stones swept by the wind, the snow, the torrential rain of the maven, and the Samhain storms. The guardian Seers descending from their eternal realm to protect the life tree. I cling to my memory of Freya, but I must not forget. Not this time. I cannot let her sacrifice herself again and again. I must break the circle. Has this happened before? I saw the hearthland covered itself in purple flowers, the grass yellow at Lithia, the leaves of 100-year oaks reddening and falling to cover the mossy undergrowth with orange-brown mold. The first snows of Yule, not a living soul. I waited patiently for their return. Then they arrived. But this time I was ready to welcome them. This time I hadn't forgotten them. They landed on the beach and ventured into the hearthland. Freya comes at the back looking anxious. Several times I sense that she's looking in my direction as if she saw me. But when the group reaches the Comlich, the sun is almost set. They stop to buy Wow. Somebody has a vocabulary. This time Freya stays awake, staring into the flames of the campfire, anxious. When she is sure that her companions are sleeping, she stands without a sound and heads towards me. She looks at me, curious. Rowan, do you remember? Freya thinks for a moment, then she gives an almost imperceptible nod. I don't know, a little. I've had a feeling of deja vu since we landed on the beach this morning. She turns her clear, keen gaze onto me. However, I do remember you. I'm sure of that. She glances towards the camp, towards our sleeping traveling companions. Why is it that I'm the only one who can see you? I consider. We completed the ascent together in the last cycle. I suppose that created a connection between the two of us. A cycle? Everything that happens here has already happened. Is that it? Every time we reach the summit, the Seers send us back into the past. Wow, okay. I didn't even see that coming. Okay. And it's because of Jennifer. Freya is stunned. Jennifer? But she seems so harmless. For now. The Seers are going to set her against us. Freya lowers her eyes, pensive, probably trying to remember what happened in the previous cycle. They're going to take her tonight. We are interrupted by a light behind me coming from the comlink. Freya, I have to hide. The Seers. I understand. I return to the beach. The next day, Jennifer was gone, and the group enters the forest. There's an argument at the front of the convoy. Yep. Duncan enters the clearing. He protects Connor. Eric challenges him, and they exchange blows. Duncan falls to the ground. Eric lifts his sword to slay him, and Freya slips silently behind Eric. She grabs his wrist before he has time to strike the fatal blow. Making use of his awkward position, she forces him to loosen his hold. His long claymore plants itself in the soft soil of the clearing. Eric twists around enraged. When he realizes that it's Freya, he lowers his eyes, probably ashamed of having been so easily throttled. Don't you think it would be better to keep your strength for the trial that awaits you? Freya gives him a look heavy with meaning. Duncan rolls over and gets up. He's the first to realize that Connor is gone. Arlen seems to go and look for him for a while, and the rest of the group continues their ascent. Once again, Freya waits until the group is asleep before coming to meet me. This time, she has taken her things. The moon is bright enough for us to continue the ascent. If we were fast enough, maybe we can reach the summit before the Seers have taken the others. Oops, I skipped that one. If we move fast, we can be there tomorrow. Were you able to warn them? To tell them what? That everything will happen has already happened? That I'm the only one who can see the 8th member of the expedition and that she's trapped in the world of the Seers? Freya moves on briskly. We reach the cavern. Freya grasps her lance and enters without hesitation. She seems unstoppable, like a mountain torrent. I don't know what hides behind this facade of resolve. The only thing that I'm sure of is that she's decided to take charge of both our destinies. Then we come to the other side of the cave. The sun is rising. We stop for a few moments to get our breath back. I try to sound out her intentions. Freya, what are you trying to accomplish? She's silent for a moment. Then she comes to me and takes me by the shoulders. Don't worry, Rowan. I know what I have to do to protect you. I look away bewildered. Why would you want to protect me? We barely know each other. Freya smiles. You don't deserve what's happening to you, Rowan. And despite all that the Seers have put you through, you keep trying to save us. Of course I'm going to do everything in my power to try to free you. A few hours later, we near the flame tree. The eternal layer of snow which strews the ground of the summit stops at the stone circle, giving way to the welcoming carpet of grass. We cross the threshold of the enclosure, and the biting mountain air changes to the soft warmth of the summer's eve. Above us, the branches of the tree block out the sky as if we hadn't entered a carmine bower. The ripples of magic currents which seem to come from the trees make the air shimmer with metallic sheen. From the other side of the calm-ledge, a group of seers watches our approach, motionless in the silent space of the between two worlds. This time, none of them approach to offer the flame to Freya. However, Yennefer appears as in the previous cycle. She still wears her blue dress, and her long red hair is loose, giving her a wild appearance. As if she were the only one with the magic of the tree, she and it clad in the same vermilion shroud. Rowan, I beg you, turn back. You're not supposed to be here. And I know what you're about to do. I open my mouth to answer, but Freya's ahead of me, and she moves towards Yennefer with decision. Yennefer takes a step back, thrown by Freya's assurance. Freya? Stay out of this, please. The Seers have chosen you, too. In another life, perhaps. In this one, I've decided that I don't care. I cannot condone what the Seers have made Rowan suffer. I have been blind trust in them all my life, but no more. She turns to them and cries, Leave it, let us be. The Seers are motionless for a moment, then they make a circle at the edge of the comlech and strike the ground with their sticks. Their voices rise in a crystalline murmur accented by the regular beat of their sticks which sound on the floor. This happened last time. I feel a ball of dull pain spread out in my stomach. Despite myself, a cry of pain escapes me. Freya turns to me. Rowan! Yennefer uses distraction to pull out a long dagger which is hidden in the folds of her dress. Again. The pain makes me stagger. Yennefer raises her blade. This time, Freya's ready. She turns and blocks Yennefer's blow. The two women struggle fiercely, but Freya has the edge. She will have to kill Yennefer, who will not allow herself to be beaten. Unless I decide not to intervene. Freya has taken her decision. This time, the outcome of the fight between the two young women is obvious. In a heartbeat, Freya has disarmed Yennefer and knocked her down. The agony in my belly becomes unbearable. Between the throes I see Freya charge the Seers, whirling her lance. Then I lose consciousness. When I open my eyes again, brilliant sunshine dazzles me. The world is swaying from side to side. I am on a boat. Someone is bent over me. She's awake! I pull myself up by the rail. To port, we can see the island cliffs, and further away the summit like a fang in the sky. Only Arlen, Brandon, and Connor are aboard. Freya? Where's Freya? Arlen sighs and holds a flask of water out to me. She brought you back to the beach a few hours ago. She was with those antlers children and a great white heart. Did she tell you what happened on the summit? I mean, after I passed out? Arlen shakes her head. Not really. She just asked us to leave the island. She made me promise to take care of you. But she didn't want us to leave, or she didn't want to leave with us. And Duncan? Eric? Arlen shakes her head, troubled. I don't know. Rhea told me we shouldn't worry about them. That's all I know. The fair winds swiftly carry us far from the shore. I don't know what pact Freya must have made of the Seers for my release, but I am certain of something, that I will be eternally grateful. Will I have the chance one day to thank her? I stay at the stern watching the island slip further and further away. Only when it is dropped out of sight, lost in the mist, do I let out a sigh, and then I turn to look forward past the prow towards the future. Free at last. Achievement unlocked. The moor again. So that's the path I got. Nice. Apparently I could replay this and get lots of different endings to this story. But I got the Viking got to stab everybody one. I'm cool with that. I have a bad feeling she became what Rowan used to be. Oh, he was okay. I forgot that. And she got to be free. Interesting. Wow, that was like a really good game. I'd be tempted to play it again sometime. Not sure I'd record it all, but I would try to get the other endings to it. If I ever did record it again, I'd probably do it a really, really long time from this one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed Seer's Isle and all the weird choices I made. I'd say we got an okay ending. It's kind of weird. But that's okay. Well, if you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, and I will see you in the next game. Laters.